Og noget af det kan vi jo altså få opklaret her i studiet nu. Foreløbig tak til dig, Steffen Jensen, for her har vi den israelske ambassadør i Danmark. Welcome to you, Mr. Arthur Avnon. This must not have been the most possible or positive day for you as ambassador in Denmark. I know you've been to the foreign minister here in Denmark, Lene Espersen, who wanted some kind of explanation from you. What did you tell her today? Because this is a very serious accident or incident.
We consult our embassy with the foreign ministry, and they ask us sometimes questions, we ask them, and there is a sharing of information, and they came there to share information which we have. And indeed, they were interested in the information which I had to give over there. It was specifically about who the people on these ships were. There were some well-meaning people there for sure. But the organizing organization there, the IHH, and many of the people on those ships were associated with organizations which intelligence organizations identify as affiliated to terror, to international terror, including in Iraq, insurgency in Iraq.
But we have been in contact with members of the people who sent the ships down there. For example, the Swedish author Henning Mankell. Yeah. We have seen a former Holocaust survivor, Hedy Epstein, who is 85 years old. So you can't altogether say that all the 600
No, I did not say that. I said for sure there were some well-meaning people there which deserve all of my respect and everybody's respect. But the majority of the people there were members of IHH, as the organizing committee, an NGO from Turkey, Islamic organization, which was already affiliated with Al-QAEDA. It was affiliated with the global jihad, and it is affiliated today with HAMAZ. And the CIA reports and our intelligence reports, and even here in Denmark in 2006, your DIIS, which is the research organization under your foreign ministry, hosted here experts on terrorism, and they pointed out to this organization already as the organization which was involved in insurgency in many places in the world.
But and that doesn't give the right. That doesn't give the right to sue them.
No. Forgive me. But what is important here, in spite of their identity, and the fact that on those ships there were citizens from countries which are at war with Israel, like Yemen and Syria and Algeria and others. In spite of that, we took all the precautions and we started with diplomatic activity. We appealed to the Turkish government. We invited their ambassador, and we asked them not to allow these ships under Turkish flag to sail and to perform an illegal act over there. The sovereignty of Israel is not less important than the sovereignty of Turkey or Denmark or any other country. And they refused. Then, when the ships came over much closer, our captain called to the captain of the leading ship to divert to the port of ASHDOD, which is 15 kilometers from Gaza, and unload their supplies there so that it can be supplied through the United Nations, every gram of it, into the citizens of Gaza. They refused. They refused to take a letter and a small package for the family from the family of our captive soldier who is held in Hamas hands for 3.5 years there without visits from the Red Cross, from anybody. Just a package and a letter. They refused. At the foreign ministry today, we agreed, both sides, and you can ask them also, of course, that this was not a convoy, as it was branded, of any humanitarian activity. This was a convoy which was political. It was there in order to break a stoppage to illegal infiltrations into Gaza. So therefore, we took all the precautions. Our soldiers received all the instructions. Only when their lives are threatened, then to take military steps, and their lives were threatened.
Why were they threatened? We heard the military lady say before that there was a lynching thing going on, that the activist was actually very aggressive towards the soldiers, but they have the guns.
Yeah, but when you stand like that and you get shot with a rifle or a handgun, as one of our soldiers was in the head and is terribly injured now in hospital, or another one was stabbed with a long knife into his stomach and he's critically injured, then people feel threatened, and I think justly so. You would not like to be attacked with a long knife, would you? So therefore, please, this was not the result that we wanted. We did not want anyone to be hurt, neither on our side nor on the side of the passengers of that ship.
There has been rumors all day. The military in Israel and Benjamin Netanyahu says some things. We have heard a Turkish custom employee said that all the activists that came from Turkey were scanned before entering the ship, and they totally denied that they had weapons on board. Who should we believe? Because still, the main thing is that we have 10 activists being killed.
Even more.
Even more,
by the way, yes, yes, for sure. When you find weapons there, which we did, and when you interview me, I tell you what I know. This is the information which I have. I believe the people that give me the information, because we live in a democratic country, which is under the supervision of all the institutions that you have here in Denmark. If you want to believe other people, then it is, of course, the privilege of anyone to believe them. But this is what happened there.
And as you have heard, your Prime Minister is now cancelling a meeting with the American President Barack Obama, and you know that the UN's Security Council, they are all meeting tonight in order to discuss what happened today in Israel. And you know that the European Union says, stop that blockade against Gaza. Where is Israel now after this incident? Because all of a sudden you have the whole world against you.
There is a matter of public relations here, but the calculation, and as well, it is not like with business. Is it worthwhile? It's not worthwhile. Public relations for Israel is very important, but it's not important, more important than our national interest. And when you have unauthorized ships trying to come in, no matter what the purpose is, and in this case, as I said before, there was a reason to suspect them, very, very much so. But when you have so many ships coming in without authorization, and your sovereignty is not respected, and offers to settle this peacefully and take all this merchandise and bring it over there in a peaceful way, it would have been the same for them. You see the provocation here, and then you act. So I'm sorry to say that public relations, as important as it is, there are other needs that any country has which are more important.
So what you say is, if the activist has given you the medicals, the building materials and the school books, given it to the Israel authorities, you would have handed it over to the Gaza?
Fully, I say this, and I stand behind it because there are documents about it also passed to the Turkish government. This offer was made from the beginning, but since the purpose of this convoy was not a humanitarian but a political purpose, so they made their point.
But the United Nations says to stop the blockade right now, and that it's a legal blockade. The European Union says stop the blockade, Israel.
But ma'am, there are two issues here. One, is it a blockade really? When you go there in the markets, you see plenty of food of any necessity. Humanitarian equipment goes in there. Every day there is more going in there than those ships altogether had. So this is one issue. But the other one is what the United Nations is. The United Nations has a majority of Arab countries, of Muslim countries. 57 countries of those members of the UN are Muslim. They are all, almost by definition, enemies of Israel, no matter what. If they decide that today, right now, it is the sun which revolves around Earth, they will pass that resolution. They will do it automatically. Then they have the support of all other non-allied countries and so on. So therefore, I'm really not very respectful for what the United Nations is doing here.
But do you regret or do you feel sad about today's incident?
We are very sad about the loss of lives. There is no doubt that this is regrettable, but who should be more sad? It is the organizers who did not agree for the offers which were given to them on a silver plate, actually. They wanted a confrontation and they got it.
Mr. Arthur Avnon, Israeli ambassador here in Denmark, thank you so much for coming and explaining your point of view.
Thank you.